So, hey everybody, I have Wes with me tonight. You can check him out. I'll tag him in the video. It's Wes Legg. You want to tell the audience a little bit about yourself, Wes, because these are kind of my friends watching tonight, but we'll share on your Facebook as well.
Okay, well, my name is Wes Legg. I'm from a small town in Ohio. It's called Belle Fountain. We're just due west of Columbus. Father of three older boys now, not so young. The youngest one will be 21 here real soon. So I find myself to be an empty nester, which is kind of cool, kind of neat. But I found myself with a lot more time on my hands, which is kind of neat too, because I can just pursue my passions, right, and do what I want now, which is kind of cool. I'm a heating and air conditioning technician in a local hospital. Football official. I did college baseball for many years in baseball. I'm trying to think what else I do. I'm a life coach, and I do run a home-based business as well. So I'm a pretty busy guy.
Yeah, sounds like it, Wes. So Facebook, we will get to your comments. If you just drop a comment where you're watching from, and if you're on the replay when we get done and it's recorded, you can do #replay and let us know where you're watching from. And if you have any questions or comments to our live, be sure and drop that or send us a private message, Wes or myself. We will get to every comment because we roll like that, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Wes, we're talking to really tonight, our audience is anybody, especially in business or sales, but maybe not. Maybe you just want to handle rejection. Like, so who's been there? In our adult lives, many of us as adults kind of act like 2-year-olds sometimes with this, right? So sitting there and you're like, why am I acting like this? Why am I letting this bother me? What are some things we can do? And that's what we're going to be talking about. So in the title of the live, I titled it Rejection, Dealing with Rejection, Energy, Positive Energy, and Handling Emotions and Reprogramming. And so that's kind of what we're going to be talking about tonight. So with that, let me first start with you. Let me ask you a question, because you do have actually a 5-week class on this to help with some basic fundamentals of reprogramming. I know in your class, which I'm in right now, I want to just quote you that it's not about your abilities, it's about belief. So like everybody's capable of doing anything they want to do, but it starts here. So let's talk about that, the reprogramming and handling emotions, or whatever you want to share. How can someone take a basic fundamental right now, like something you can share right now, that they can apply and get a result?
Well, belief is everything, and everything does start on the inside. And it took me probably the course of the last 2 years doing a lot of reading and studying when I just happened to come across a YouTube video, and a guy was explaining how our brain works. And when you really see how a person's brain works, and it's in my class, we discuss it in the very first week of the class, when you see how our brain works and how a brain creates thoughts and memories, I guess as simple as I can make it here is everybody's got the same gray matter in their head. Everybody has the same ability to create these neural networks. That's what they're called. And when you perhaps read a book, or you read, say, something that you're learning, you may read it now and this neural network is formed, and it remains for a while. If you read it within the next 48, 72 hours, you reaffirm it, it gets a little stronger. You read it again, it gets a little stronger, and eventually it becomes a full-fledged neural network. And I guess what I'm trying to say, and what it means, if you can really understand this, is nothing is impossible to anyone. I mean, nothing is impossible to anyone. The problem is we all get in our way. I mean, because we don't want to believe that, because we've been programmed through life to believe that we're not good enough. You know, we're too fat, or we're too skinny, or we're not pretty enough, or we're not good enough. And we've bought into that stuff. And you need to understand that that is not real stuff. That's not reality. Reality is we got gray matter in our head that we can reprogram. And the shame of it is some people go their entire life and not realize what they missed on because they never understood what was going on the inside of them. So, you know, that's, to me, that's really key. That is really huge. And that, when I found that out, and that's why I'm trying to teach all my friends and anybody that takes my class, you know, you need to understand that nothing, absolutely nothing is impossible to anyone. They just need to understand and need to learn, right? So, you know, Kibi, you're asking me this. I'm going to come back at you because you're one that kind of set me on my self-development ways, right? Got me into reading and studying because I picked up your book, Breaking Free. I got it off of Amazon. I actually got to read the first chapter for free. It was pretty cool. I thought that was neat. So I read the first chapter for free and I liked it. So I went ahead and got it on my Kindle. I've read the book 3 different times. And in your book, there's a lot of things that you talk about. One in particular was one that I was having issues with as I just started my own home-based business, is handling rejection and dealing with no's. Because I've been told no, you know. You think about when you're a little kid, how many times you get told no. Well, even in your adult life, it doesn't get any easier. So how do you handle being told no?
Well, no, in the rejection, I'm a very practical person. It's funny how people I work with, they say, Kibi, you could manage yourself out of a box and take everybody out of it with you. One thing I'm really good at is when I see something not working and you continue to do it, that to me is insane. So if I'm doing something and taking action and it's not working, I'm very good at stepping back and saying, this ain't working, right? So when I allowed no's to affect me, and it affected my paychecks, it affected my business, it affected my life, I said, that's insane. So I don't know the science. I don't know, like you, Wes, the neurons firing off. All I know is that wasn't working. So I said, what do I need to do? I need to get tough. How do I get mentally tough? So I started plugging into things. I had to catch some trainings, catch some coaching, and do some personal growth to work that muscle, right? Our minds are a muscle, just like if you're working your arms, right? You're going to have spaghetti arms if you're not working on. You will have a spaghetti brain if you're not working it. So for me, it was about a logical, practical application that I needed to implement in my business. And that was, you know what? You don't pay my bills, I don't care. I'm going with or without you. And I've gotten very strong. I'm not where I want to be, but I have come a long way from being 8 years ago in the industry. I literally cried. I cried when people didn't join me. I would just sob. It would hurt me so bad. And then I thought, well, you know what? This isn't helping my business grow. Acting like this, that 2-year-old whiner, right, is not helping my family. So that's insane, right? So most people, though, Wes, they quit. That's what 98% of people do. They don't go and get personal development. Why would you get personal development? Let's just go watch TV and keep a spaghetti brain. And I hate it, but our bank accounts are a reflection of our mindset. I hate that. That's not Kibi's rule. And I know that's tough to hear, but I heard that 8 years ago, and I thank God that somebody had the courage to say it. Okay, so I want to have that same courage to say it. I may have people hating me and saying I'm offending them. Sorry. I would rather sleep at night knowing that I told you the truth. And here's how I feel and believe about that. We can change our bank accounts right now. But whining about it and sucking our thumb ain't going to do it. What we've got to do is work on this. So that's why I recommend my book, Breaking Free. That's why I recommend Wes's class, because it's a basic foundation of the reprogramming of your mind. So with that, let me bounce back to you. Let's talk about the reprogramming and managing emotions without giving it all away. Give us a little tidbit so we can see your expertise around this, because you have done a lot of study. And by the way, let me tell you something. When you hire a coach, number one, a coach means they are going to keep you accountable. They have the courage to keep you accountable. They're not there to be your friend. While they will be, they'll be your friend, but they keep you accountable. A trainer just means that they can teach you hours that they've learned that you get to cut out. So with that, Wes, be sure and share how much studying you have done to prepare for your class. There you go.
Holy cow. I don't know. My wife would tell you that I live in the office and I never come out because I've always got my nose buried in a book. But I'm just infatuated by it because there's so much knowledge out there. Guys, there is so much stuff right now in science that we weren't taught in school. I mean, Newtonian physics, that's a thing of the past. That stuff it doesn't work. I mean, there are some things about it that still work, but there's a new thing, right? There's a new physics, and this new physics is actually going along with religion, and that's a whole different subject. But yeah, I mean, things have changed, and the stuff that we learned back when I was in school in the 70s and 80s, I'm telling my age, those things are outdated. I mean, way outdated. There's so much new stuff, and I'm really infatuated about it. And to me, it's like, I always go back. I was at my dad's bedside when my dad passed away, and I remember hugging my mom and her saying, well, Dad never got to do this. He always wanted to do this. I don't want to be the guy on his deathbed saying, oh, if only I would have, if only I would have. So I'm going to learn as much as I can, and that's where I'm at right now in my life. I'm absorbing everything I possibly can. And it's kind of funny, we talk about emotions, and we really dive into emotions in the first week of the second week of my class. Emotions are something that, Kibi, I can't reach through the screen right now and make you upset, right? I mean, I can't literally touch you and make you upset because your emotions are created within you. I mean, you are in control of your emotions. I'm in control of my emotions, and they're all started. I know you're going to find this hard to believe, but they're all started with a thought. Mm-hmm. That's correct. We are the source of all our feelings, all of our emotions. And when you're talking about exercising that mental muscle, when you become aware of the fact that you are, in fact, in control of your emotions, that you are, in fact, in control of the beliefs and the thoughts that go through your head, then you'll be able to take those things that pop into your head and pick out what fits your program, pick out what suits your passion or your path in life, and the rest of that stuff you can push aside because you've got the strength now to understand that that's not true. When that thought pops into your head that says, I'm not good enough, know for a fact that that is a belief that somebody else put into your head, and that is not true. I mean, there's scientific evidence to prove it. I talked about the brain earlier, right? I mean, you are just as talented as anybody else, and you have to believe that. You have to accept that. But you've got to overcome these beliefs. And it all goes back to what's going on between our ears. Emotions, I'll finish up with this because I could go on and on and on for this. But there's one emotion that is mismanaged and not handled by a vast majority of people in the United States in our world today, and that's called stress. And stress can actually get out of control, and there's such a thing called a stress loop, and we can get caught in this, in that we remain in this stressful environment. I mean, stress was a good thing when it's designed as a good thing, a fight or flight response to a threatening, something threatening on the outside, but you're supposed to come out from that. But when you don't come out from that and you remain in that stressful environment, well, it has long-term health implications, like heart disease, like chronic inflammation. I want to say, what's fibromyalgia? What kind of disease is fibromyalgia? What's the word I'm trying to say here?
The autoimmune.
Autoimmune diseases, right? These all come and stem from stress. Mm-hmm. And it's all because this person hasn't learned and understood how to deal with stress. And then it all starts on the inside. So Kibi, I don't want to get long-winded. I could go on for hours, but in my class, we do deal a couple weeks on beliefs, actually 2 weeks on belief, and we finish up with who we are at the core. And that is, to me, that's the culmination of the class. And you're getting ready to experience that this week as we enter into our 5th week this week of my class, and who we are at the core. And it's kind of fascinating that most people, and for those of you watching, you might think this is a little silly and off the wall, but most people do not know who they are. And I often rephrase that, and I'm going to ask you, Kibi, real quick, and I'll cut off here. Kibi, if I was to ask you who you are, now you've been through my class, so you know where I'm coming from, but originally when you first heard this question, who are you, Kibi Whitehead, who are you? Well, how would you answer that?
Yeah, so what I would have said before I learned these skills is I go right to my career, right to my whatever the ego feeds me as, oh, I've done this and I've got this accolade and I've got this degree and I've got this, right? That's most people. But now, you know, it's about who I really am. If I took all that material stuff away, who am I? I am a mother. I'm a wife. I love God. You know, what are the things that I really, the core of my life, right? And that's hard to pull out of people sometimes because we've been programmed that we're supposed to look a certain way and dress a certain way and make so much money and have this title and and we live and feed that ego. So you definitely pull that out of us in the class. And I've had years of training on that, but I can tell you your class is very good at helping us to recognize who we are. And then at the end of 5 weeks, we get a personal call with you. Can you share about that too?
Yeah, well, I offer a 1 hour free call that we can go over and discuss anything that we went over in the class. And I am a personal life coach, so we can dive into other avenues if we want to. This class is preparatory for what's coming down the road. I'm in the process of putting together a class on law of attraction, which it's very key that you are able to handle your emotions and your thoughts and your beliefs if you want to be successful in actually using the law of attraction to gain the ability to manifest. So, Kibi, we're talking about all this, and it all goes back to a thing that, you know, this is one of the things I drew from your book, and it kind of led me into this avenue where I am in my class. It's called Yes, You Can. But your book, Breaking Free, you talk a lot on a thing called positive energy. I know we all talk about being positive and using positive thoughts, but there's a way we can give away our energy. Maybe you can dive into that a little bit, because that's what I fed off of to build my program.
Yeah, energy is everything, because we're either feeding negative or positive, and it's a choice. And it's a skill. So if we're programmed to go negative, which we are because of media and just even family, we're programmed to go this way. We have to stop and say, whoa, I'm going this way. So in my book, I talk about the use of gratitude, the use of the power of your words, right? Like the tongue is a rudder. It truly guides you through your life, and anything you speak comes true. So with that, if I say, well, I don't even want to say it. I want to say I'm rich and abundant and honored and loved, and that's what I want. We speak what we want. But as you can see, I spoke that real easy. When I got started with the power of words, I was stutter through it. I'm like, I'm a winner. I'm a champion. Like, we can't even say it about ourselves, right? And then you have this ego talking to you. Well, you just think you're all that, don't you? Well, you're greedy, don't you? So then you have to fight that battle. And you're like, no, I'm not. I'm a child of the king, and there's no broke princesses ever. Never, ever seen a broke princess. Listen, we got to self-talk. Our energy is either going downhill or uphill, right? Positive or negative, it's a choice. It's a skill. And I've been able to do this and even write a book about it because I've gotten personal coaching. Many people think that our education stops after high school. What the what? Or we went to college 10 years ago. What the what? Like, that's over. Like, we need to be skilled. We need to be learning. I just say take the time you spend in front of a TV and apply that into personal growth and watch what happens in your life. Whether you have a business or not, you'll promote in your career, you'll promote in your family, you'll promote in your relationships, you'll promote in your spiritual life, you'll promote in all areas. You'll probably even turn your health around too. Because like you said, Wes, it's all connected. Stress causes disease. How do you manage stress? Mindset. It's all connected. You want more money, you got to fix all these other areas of your life. You got to fix your relationship with your spouse. You're fighting with your spouse, you want more money, forget it. Right? Like, we've really got to work on all the pillars, all those 4 pillars of our life. Anyway, so Wes, tell everybody how they can get in touch with you. And let me just say that the outfit I have on costs more than Wes's class. So you better get in now with these promotional prices, because Wes is going to explode, and then it's going to be harder to get in his classes, And with his results, his classes are going to increase in price. So right now is a great time to get involved and get this foundation laid out. So tell everybody how they can get in touch with you, and we'll hop off.
Well, the easiest way to get in touch with me would be through Facebook Messenger. You can find me on Facebook, Westleg, and yeah, send me an instant message. That's the quickest and easiest way. I respond to all those. I read all of them. If you want to reach out to me via email, it's leg, the number 3. It's LEGGE, the number 3, at outlook.com. Real simple, real simply. Thanks, Kiwi. This has been really fun. I really enjoyed it. Thanks for having me on.
We'll do it again because I love giving tips too. And hopefully, you know, with the courage, someone spoken to me about that whole bank account thing. It hit me really hard, but it helped me to do something about my life. Because Jason and I were living check to check. We're hard workers, but we were like, it was insanity. Like, why am I doing this? You know, like, how am I going to send my kids to college? I can't even pay for daycare. What the what? Okay, so look, we can change. Yes, you can.
Yes, ma'am.
And that's what we're here for, Wes, is to spread this message that people can change. They can reprogram. They can fix their issues. It just starts with a choice.
Yes, it does. And Kiwi, if I could say one other thing before you close this out here.
Yeah.
Everybody, you know, some people watching this may say, well, you know, I'm happy with where I am in life, but in reality, are you really? I mean, have you pushed those dreams and those passions aside so many times for so many years? Have you failed so many times that you just given up, and you've just given into the fact that this is where I'm going to be and this is how I'm going to live my life? Well, friend, I'm going to tell you that your life is lived from the inside out, and you determine what you experience in life. Life doesn't happen to you. You truly do create life. Mm-hmm. So if you're down on life, you're sending that out, and that's exactly what you're going to get. More experiences to make you feel down. If you feel like you're broke and you're lacking money, and that's what you always focused on, you're always going to be experiencing lack of money. That's a mindset thing that you've got to break. And if you want to change, you can. Yes, you can. So that's all I got to say, Kiwi. Thank you.
Yes, you can. All right. Well, we'll stop the live stream. Thank you, Wes, and we'll stop the Zoom record.